From 100 contestants competing to become the new MasterChef, only 4 remain.
I'm going to perform today as a professional chef.
One prize, the chance to work in a top restaurant.
Today I just need to cook utterly delicious food. 2
expert judges to decide who wins.
I love being a chef in a great restaurant, but it doesn't get tougher than that.
Standards are so high and the pressure is immense.
This is one tough competition, but I will tell you something. Whoever wins it, it's going to change their life.
I'm going to do my damnedest to win it.
MasterChef is going large. For the last 5 days, these 4 amateur cooks have been on a culinary journey.
That's it, great. That's exactly what you want.
They learnt the basic cooking techniques for pasta, pastry, fish and game. They've cooked for celebrities, aristocracy and the army. They've suffered immense pressure, both physically and emotionally, as they've pursued their dream of becoming MasterChef.
I think you better go off to the hospital with that.
It's now their last chance to prove to the judges that they deserve to continue that journey and are worthy of a place in the finals. At the end of this programme, one of these 4 contestants will be eliminated. Today, the contestants face just one task. They must cook 2 courses of their own design for 3 top restaurant critics. They're used to eating at the best restaurants in the country, and they'll be judging the food today on those standards.
You've had a tough week so far, and now it gets tougher. You've got 2 hours to cook 2 courses. Happy with that?
The restaurant critics may be eating, but the final decision about who will be sent home lies with the judges. Top chef and restaurateur John Turode.
The 4 of them who are cooking today do know that one of them is going home at the end of this. So for them, the pressure is absolutely immense.
And veg guru Greg Wallace.
They should now all be able to stand up on their own feet and cook like pros. And all I hope is they've got flavoursome and uncomplicated food.
The judges are looking for great cooking skills, but also for someone who can fulfil their potential. Christopher dreams of becoming a Michelin star chef. He's consistently pushed the boundaries with his cooking, sometimes to his own detriment. Today, he's opted for a Moroccan-style lamb with goat's cheese in phyllo pastry, and a dessert that he's invented himself, avocado ice cream on caramelised aubergine.
Playing safe would be an easy option, but playing safe is not going to make me shine today. And the way everyone's pegged at the moment, I need to shine to guarantee to go through to the finals. So yeah, it's all or nothing, basically.
These are dishes you've done before, aren't they?
One is.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah. I've done the lamb with the spinach and feta in the phyllo parcel. The ice cream, I'm going for broke.
That's a serious risk.
It's a gamble.
To do something that you've never done before.
I think you've got a very big challenge on your hands here. I think you really have, especially doing a dish like this, an important time like this, which you've never ever practiced before or even tasted before. It's brave.
I don't know, you know. I really don't know. I think this is not a day for experimentation. And I'm not sure about that lamb at all either. I'm not a fan of phyllo pastry in any shape or form. Problem is, you put goat's cheese with lamb, you taste goat's cheese.
It doesn't excite me, it doesn't enthrall me, it doesn't make me want to eat it. I'm a little bit frightened of it, actually, because I'm a bit scared about what it's going to taste like.
And that pudding.
John and Greg aren't convinced. But in this task, it's all about the restaurant critics. Will he impress them with his ability to innovate? Tommy is obsessed with food. It's her raison d'etre. Becoming a pro chef is her life's goal. To impress the critics, she's making a starter of partridge salad with seasonal watercress and Jerusalem artichokes, followed by a Spanish fish stew and saffron mash.
And I've been thinking about it all week, and it's really amazing. Completely my own invention.
Perfect.
And some garlic cloves.
Can I ask you, with your saffron, did you toast it first?
No.
You know that if you do toast it, you'll get a far better flavour out of it, and it will actually infuse a lot better, and you get a lot more colour out of it as well. Yeah. Okay. Just a dry, hot pan, drop it in for a second or just stir. Very good. Are you excited?
Yeah, I tried last night. The salad rocks. And
Thomasina, that recipe is bang on the money. Everything I like about food, she is now putting together. That is wonderful. If she gets the execution right, she has got it right on the money. Yeah, but that's a tough gig. And the thing is, if she's done what she's supposed to have done, and that's become, you know, moved into professional realms, then she's going to pull it off. But as an amateur, I tell you what, that's a tough gig.
Sounds great, though.
That sounds delicious.
It sounds fantastic.
Stockbroker Caroline has had enough of the city. She wants to embark on a new career in cooking. She likes to be in control, and so is playing safe with a Jerusalem artichoke soup with truffle oil and soda bread, followed by chicken breast in masala sauce and a potato gratin.
But I think in this sort of situation, there's the decision you have to make is between sort of being adventurous and executing well. And at the end of the day, to me, executing well is probably more important than being too adventurous.
This is a really rich soup, Caroline.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a small quantity in a bowl. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Served with truffle oil. Do you put a drizzle across the top? Is
Just
that
a little trickle across the top.
So the heat will bring the smell of it up.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It's lovely.
Fantastic. Very, very interesting ingredient, because it's not really loved by a lot of women, for the reason that it's got a lot of pheromone in it, and that some people find it actually offensive. And I, as a male, love it. I love it. Of course, dogs love it, pigs love it, and that's why they send them truffle hunting, and that's why you and I love it. But if you know, all the dogs and all the pigs they use are only male. They're not female.
I'm concerned we've got a very, very thin soup coming up here, which is not seasoned very well, and we rely upon truffle oil to give it body and give it heart. We've got a chicken dish here, which, as you say, it's just chicken. It's going to have to be really, really seriously good chicken.
It's all about execution. If she executes it properly, stays focused, stays chilled and calm, that will be fine.
Mark's the youngest and least experienced, but believes that his ability in the kitchen could change his life. He's pinning his hopes on a starter of roasted peppers, grilled mushrooms and mozzarella, followed by pan-fried cod on aubergines with an avocado salsa verde with wild mushrooms.
I'm really excited about cooking my own food because I've got a menu and I've got a recipe, but it's been that drummed into me now, and because I'm kind of that familiar with it, it's just going to be great to just crack on and just cook it as best I can.
The pressure's on you because one of you is going home today. How does that make you feel?
I think I want to step up my game and I want to win. To not see it through to the end would be a nightmare, and I am really confident. I think my cooking's really come on.
All through this, we've been saying to Mark, stick with what you know and keep it simple.
Yeah, and that main course has got more ingredients in it than your local supermarket. That main with the cod on top of aubergine, that's not complimentary at all. Salsa verde around the outside with wild mushroom in it, so the wild mushroom's going to get completely enveloped by the salsa verde. This is not good.
Mark's food is still quite young and still immature, but execution is important here. And if he presents it well, if he does it very, very well and it looks fantastic, you know, he might be all right. He might be all right.
It's decision day. Mistakes at this stage of the competition could prove costly. Will Christopher's ambition prove his undoing? Does Caroline risk boring the critics by playing safe with her menu? Can the eccentric and inconsistent Tommy hold it together long enough to make two good dishes? And will Mark's youth and inexperience cause him to crack under the pressure? Not only does the food have to be of the highest possible standard, it also has to be served on time, as expected in a restaurant environment. Christopher will be first to serve his menu to the critics. With just 2 minutes to go, the avocado ice cream gets the nod from John.
Very good. You happy with it, Chris, as well?
It should have held its shape a bit better, to be honest.
Judging the contestants' food are 3 distinguished restaurant critics. Charles Campion has over 20 years' experience and is one of the country's most revered critics. Jeremy Wayne is the restaurant critic for The Guardian Guide and food editor for Tatler magazine. And Kate Spicer, who writes for The Times and The Evening Standard. Christopher is up first. It's time for service.
The dish that I prepared today will, without doubt, be worthy of most restaurants' tables. If I just do an average dish, I'm out of the competition, so I'm really hoping to pull it off today. And obviously I still want to win this, that's why I've gone full out with this exquisite menu.
Christopher has made spicy Moroccan lamb on spinach and feta in a phyllo parcel with chilli jam and mint raita. Will it be enough to impress?
It's very difficult to get the lamb pink and cook the phyllo outside and all at the same time. But it does work, although the spices make it quite gritty, don't they?
I think this chilli jam is completely unnecessary and doesn't work with the Moroccan flavourings in the slightest. You've got sort of subtle spicing on the meat, and then this chilli jam is hot, sweet, and sticky.
It's from another continent. I mean, it's another world, really. I mean, not a bad dish. I mean, all the elements perfectly nicely done.
There are nice things here, but they kind of been herded together into a corner and left to fight it out amongst themselves, and they're not shown maybe to their best advantage.
A lukewarm reception for the Moroccan lamb. It's now all down to the innovative avocado and honey ice cream. Will Christopher's experiment impress the critics?
Good ice cream, good texture, no granulation, the right kind of coldness, the right texture, blah, 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 but vague.
In a way, you want to probably, for a dessert, sit that beside something else.
I've never had avocado ice cream. I've never had avocado. Let's taste it, actually, let's taste it. Spot on.
Tommy is due to serve her food in the next 10 minutes, but she's misjudged her timings, leaving her partridges undercooked.
My birds aren't cooked at all.
Right.
So I'm going to sear them now.
Don't get panicky.
No, you're right.
OK, you're panicking. You don't need to panic. You've got a firm plan, you know what you're doing, just calm yourself down.
I think the coulis is bloody awful, and there's far too much of it, and it's totally ruining. You know, there should be just a few dabs of it that you could just pull in.
Like all experimental dishes, there needs to be something at the end which makes you go, wow, what makes that so wonderful? Rather than say, why is this honey ice cream slightly green?
Christopher's first course wasn't a success, and his ice cream hasn't won him any points. Meanwhile, Tommy is quickly heading for meltdown. Her partridges need another 5 minutes in the oven, but the critics are now waiting for their food.
Why don't you just concede for a moment?
Yeah.
Call 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Get your birds back in the oven and cook them properly. Give yourself a wipe down, clean up your mess, and get yourself organised again, because you're losing your head. You don't need to.
Taking John's advice on board, Tommy heads off to face the critics.
I'm sorry, I'm running 5 minutes late. I hope you don't mind, but I'd rather give you food that I'd like to eat.
Thank you.
Okay.
Come here. Get yourself cleaned up.
Yeah.
Sort yourself out, now.
Tommy's bought herself 5 minutes, but the kitchen's in full flow. Mark and Caroline are right behind her, and their food won't wait.
Go on, serve them, quick, move, boom, boom, boom.
Panic over. Tommy finally gets to serve her starter of partridge with watercress, toasted walnuts and grilled Jerusalem artichokes.
Piece of breast I've got, I would put down as perfect.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, any pinker in it would be really tough as hell, but this is just perfection, I would say.
Well, I think all round this is a really lovely mixture of flavours.
Very nice.
Everything in here has its point. That's lovely.
I think it's a good blend of ingredients, and they've been sensitively handled, and I think it tastes really nice. The dressing is well seasoned. This wouldn't be out of place in many a sharp restaurant.
Her starter has been a big hit. Will her main course, the Spanish-style tomato fish stew with saffron mash, be as big a success?
I find the tomato a bit tart, almost. Or...
I always find tomato with fish quite difficult.
There's immediately something wrong going on with the flavours in my mouth. A tomato, a saffron, a clashing.
Well, I think it's completely overwhelmed by chilli, one thing. I'm not going to...
And the mash has got a lot of saffron in it. So it's got that slightly metallic taste.
I like the stew, and I like the fact that it's got a good belt of chilli to it, and it's fierce and robust. And I kind of like the mash, but I would never put the two together. No.
Tommy's starter has really impressed the critics, while her main course gets a mixed response.
That was the most nerve-wracking experience of my life, possibly. Whew, it's over. Hooray, adrenaline.
Meanwhile, in the kitchen, the other two are cooking furiously. Caroline is up next.
I don't really have any pretensions that my cooking is the most intelligent or the fanciest in the world, but it does taste... I put a lot of love into it and it does taste delicious. Well, I think it tastes delicious.
Caroline has made a starter of Jerusalem artichoke soup with truffle oil and soda bread.
It's that truffle oil completely throws me off. It takes everything.
She's got away with the truffle oil. I mean, it hasn't gone through the whole thing.
I really love the fact that she's done this bread. I love it. Oh, it's good soup. Yeah, I love this.
The starter has been a big success. Can Caroline complete the double by turning out a winning second course of chicken breast in masala sauce with wild mushrooms, cabbage with chestnuts and pancetta, and a potato gratin?
Chicken's well cooked. Cabbage, yep, texture's right. Dauphinoise, not perfect, but pretty sound.
Here's a dish which is made by someone who enjoys food. I mean, they like their food, they know what...
And understands
they know what
food.
Works, and
I think that this dish is ahead of everything else we've had to eat today by quite a long way.
She's good, isn't she?
It's top marks for City High Flyer Caroline. Can Mark hope to equal her excellence?
I'm quite excited, I think. Although you get nervous because you're going to be analysed. People are going to deconstruct you and look at you and sort of say, well, that's a rubbish idea.
Mark's starter is tomato, mozzarella, grilled mushrooms and roasted peppers with a sweet basil dressing topped off with a parmesan wafer.
It's a little bit watery, isn't it?
it is.
And this is incredibly pallid. It just looks so unappetising.
Yeah. Dressing's tolerable but thin. Parmesan crisp is not crisp, it's sort of soggy.
From the off, the critics aren't impressed. Back in the kitchen, it's not looking much better for Mark. Will he be able to live up to the exceptional potential he has shown so far in the competition?
Mark, what are you doing with your fish, mate? It's braising rather than cooking. Why have you turned the heat off?
I didn't turn the heat off.
Somebody did.
Knocked it.
You must have turned the heat off.
I must have knocked it.
Because that's braising, which means you're going to turn over now. Then get in the oven and get on some heat. Be careful of that. Gentle, gentle, gentle. The skin's going to fall off.
The tomato is absolutely everything that could be wrong with a tomato is there. Sour, woody, unappetising colour.
Mushroom and the mozzarella, not nice together, really.
Yeah, I don't want to eat that.
Not fun.
That's really amateurish.
A disastrous first course. Can Mark's pan-fried cod on a bed of aubergine with an avocado salsa verde and wild mushrooms redeem him?
This aubergine is wrinkly and a little bit dry, but if it's been nicely roasted, it should have a nice creamy smokiness to it. And it doesn't. It's horrible.
The fish has gone fluffy.
That's
if
not
you're going to have
issue,
a crispy skin, you've got to have a crispy skin. You can't pretend.
The salsa verde doesn't answer to anything, really, does it?
And because the avocado just steals all the flavour of the herbs, isn't it? It steals all the space.
This is dinner party ordinary, I'm afraid.
It's been a disastrous day for Mark. Both of his courses have failed to impress the judges. All 4 contestants have now served their food. It's time for John and Greg to get the feedback from the critics.
We've got 4 people here who have been whittled down from 100. We have to now make a decision because one of those people has to leave today. And that decision not only rests with us, but also rests with you.
You had Christopher. What did you think of Christopher's food?
Christopher was one of the weaker of the contenders, and I would much rather see simpler, more heartfelt food than somewhat contrived and ineffective dishes. And I thought they didn't work.
Yeah, he was definitely just trying too hard and trying too hard to get to a level he wasn't capable of achieving.
What I did like about Christopher's cooking was the different things on the plate. I just didn't necessarily like them together.
The ice cream was nicely made. It was technically quite sound, but
Aubergine, not a bad idea.
The avocado, why?
I don't think many diners are ready to read avocado ice cream on a menu. But that's me. Do something weird. Make it work.
You waited a little bit longer for Thomasina's because she wasn't quite ready. Was it worth waiting for?
I thought the first course, the watercress and partridge, was absolutely terrific. That's exactly right for me. The second course left us in a certain amount of disarray.
I took a little taste of the saffron and I was like, oh, that's, you know, when you eat too much saffron, your whole mouth is full of that sort of tinfoil. It was sad because she's clearly got what it takes, I think. She's got great instincts around food, obviously.
Would you all have enjoyed the Catalan fish stew a lot more if it hadn't had the mash?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had the courage of my own convictions and I did the food that I believed in, and, you know, if they don't like that, then I can't do anything about it. But I'm happy. I'm really happy.
Woohoo! And then, Caroline, what did you think of her?
The best by a country mile. I mean, just splendid. I mean, a basket of bread turns up and we're all sitting here purring greedily. Then good soup, nice texture, not too much truffle oil. It was good soup. And the chicken, triumphant. Triumphant chicken.
My only problem with her, and she was far and away the best, was the sort of, there was a lack of ballsiness in some ways. It was a little bit dainty.
I mean, they all seem quite scary to me. So what can you say? And they're going to criticise your food, which I always find, you know, you do find it very difficult to stand up and be judged.
You had young Mark. What did you think of him?
I didn't like those dishes at all, I'm afraid.
Nothing really shone through. It wasn't the best, you know. Great to be that simple, but it's got to be good.
What about his main then, Kate?
I was pretty appalled by his main. There was a singular lack of flavour everywhere.
Salsa verde a proper salsa verde might have saved that. Not much could have saved that piece of fish, I have to say, but a salsa verde might have saved it.
They obviously weren't that impressed with the cod, but to be honest, I wasn't either. It came away from the skin very easily. It was a bit flaky, not altogether impressed with the fish.
The boys have failed to impress the critics, but Tommy and Caroline have come up trumps. To add to that, both girls have put in strong performances all week. Caroline proved that not only can she cook great food, she could also take control when needed.
Caroline is the one who actually marshalled the whole thing through.
Yeah, but she's got the strength. We've always said she's been driven.
Prep your garnishes now, OK? Prep your garnishes now.
She also had the presence of mind to know exactly what was coming on. She said, I need more canopies, and I need them in about 5-7 minutes.
I need BLTs now.
What do you need now?
BLTs!
And on more than one occasion, Tommy created food worthy of the finest chef.
That was delicious. We're all longing to know about the sauce.
Yeah, I've just been drinking it.
Obviously, the girls are in front, the boys are behind. This is a tough one, and I'm just going to put on you the pressure that's on us. If you've got to sack one of the boys now, which one's it going to be?
It's going to be Mark.
Kate?
Christopher needs discipline and needs to be taught what his abilities are.
And Mark?
Mark, I thought, was just wrong on every level.
I think they're both pretty close to the door in terms of needing to go. It's really tricky.
So who's going out of the team?
Mark goes.
We know that Thomasina and Caroline are staying. The decision we've got to make now is Christopher or Mark. The three of you say Mark should go on the food that's done today, but this is not just about the food today. We have to make this decision, but this has been very, very helpful indeed. And thank you very much.
For either Mark or Christopher, the competition is over, and with it their dream of becoming MasterChef. The decision on who goes and who stays will be based on their performances over the whole week. Despite his inexperience, Mark's determination and willingness to learn meant that his food shone at the aristocratic dinner party.
Evening. Congratulations.
It was delicious. It's
Very clean plates.
I'd like to have it all over again.
Thank you very much.
And when he cooked for the cause.
I think it's beautiful. I love it, actually. Yeah, it's really, really different. I haven't ever tasted anything like it, but it's really nice.
It's a small victory. My chances of getting through to the second week are pretty good, I reckon. I've done well cooking the duck. I did well at mustard. I did well on one of the fish things. I think I've done all right.
Whereas Christopher constantly pushed the boundaries and did things his way.
So I'm cooking for me now. As you've noticed, my attitude has changed. It's for me. I did my pasta much thinner than everyone else's because that's the way I eat my pasta. I don't like thick, doughy pasta.
And this individuality caused problems when he had to work as a team.
I need Caroline's arse here now. Can't fanny around up there hiding.
I'm not sure what you said about Christopher, but I'm sure he's never worked on an oil tanker. I think you're wrong. Harry, what do you think?
I think there's tension.
I'm still hungry to be a chef, that I'm still motivated, that I haven't lost my edge, that I haven't sort of been demoralised by all this push that we've done for the last few days.
This is the hardest decision John and Greg have had to make so far.
Poor Mark, as a novice, just doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the knowledge. But I said, and you said, there was a little light in there. Something was, there was a sparkle, there was something, there was ambition.
Well, what happened to him today? He just went to bits. You know, if he's going to go to bits every time, he's fine with a teacher standing beside him. If he's going to go to bits every time he's left on his own, he just reverted back to I don't know what.
But what I have a bigger problem with is the fact that I have got somebody like Christopher who actually hasn't been listening to any part or anything that we've said. If we go back to the pasta, for instance, he wanted to do it his way. Well, that's fantastic, but actually it doesn't work in the real world. And that therefore leaves me with a dilemma, because I have a young guy who is inexperienced with a small amount of knowledge, who actually has drive, who has willing, who has want, and who would really like to be able to continue on this journey, I think. Then I have another guy who is more mature, has had greater exposure to food, who has this overriding bravado that thinks that he is better than other people, that his food is beyond reproach. And I think that's becoming slightly arrogant.
If Mark's failing is a lack of knowledge, should we give up on him now? Where Christopher's failing is not a lack of knowledge, he's chosen to ignore it and go off in a really crazy direction. It's a real... it's so frustrating with a pair of those fellas.
After a week of intense pressure, the time has finally come. One of these semi-finalists is going home, their dream of becoming MasterChef unfulfilled.
This week has been about finding the strengths in all of you and seeing what weaknesses you have. Unfortunately, one of you will be going home today.
And the person who's leaving us is Christopher.
Avocado ice cream. Who would have guessed it? Tough choice. It's the way to go out, man. It's the way to go out.
It's going to be me. It's going to be me. Please don't be me.
I'm not too disappointed. I mean, it's been a great week, and it's been a very tough week. And those guys have got another week ahead of them. So I wish them the best of luck. I would have liked to have won. I know that I went out on a limb on the avocado ice cream, but that's me. That's the way I work. You know, that's purely my character. So I presented me. So I didn't win. That's fair enough. I didn't fake anything. So, you know, you can't blame anyone for that. That's just my character doesn't suit cookery, perhaps. But I'm not disappointed to go out the way I did. I'll be always remembered for the guy who created avocado ice cream. Nobody else has created it yet, so that's my signature dish.
I'm in the finals. I can't believe it.
Next week, it's the finals. They have a masterclass with modern food genius Heston Blumenthal. They cook for 600 sailors on a Navy warship. And they each have to survive the pressure of a Michelin star kitchen. At the end of the week, one of them will be crowned MasterChef.